Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Dwight Johnson, your host with Total Talk Podcast, and welcome to another episode. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts today. I have two of them. To my left, I have my wife, Nia Lewis Johnson. Hey. And I also have our head strength and conditioning coach, Coach Lacey Coleman. What we like to do, we like to go on and just get right into it. We want to start off with the tip of the week. All right, when we mean the tip of the week, we want to give you some meat that you can take home with you that you can use on a daily basis. We train a lot of athletes, okay, from elementary, middle school, high school, but we have a real big, high school strength and conditioning class, and it's growing every day. And the reason it's growing because our athletes are seeing great results. I mean, they see themselves getting stronger, but let's break it down, Coach Lacey, because a lot of high school kids, they're very interested in, all right, getting a stronger bench press. Like, how can I get my bench press stronger? You know what I mean? What's the way to do that? So can you go in detail and give them the tip of the week of how they can increase their bench max in the proper way to bench?
Yes, sir. Well, simple. I start from the ground up. I know a lot of people think about bench as being an upper body exercise, but really a full body exercise. So what I mean by ground up, you're pushing from the floor up through your back into your triceps. So you want your feet tucked under your hips, your butt on the bench, take your shoulders, retract them.
Right.
Tight. And you push through your triceps. You don't want your shoulders out here. You put a lot of pressure on the front of your shoulders. So you have everything locked in so you can use your lats and you can push safely.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, I know we've had a few of our high school guys, man, saying that, man, my bench press increased like 20 pounds.
Oh, yeah, easy.
In 6 weeks.
Just off of technique?
Just off of technique alone. Because they wasn't really activating those lats. You know what I mean? And stuff like
those
that.
Are breaks.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's our tip of the week, our total athlete tip of the week. And we will be constantly giving y'all tips of the week. But come on in. Come on into our gym. We have a high school strength and conditioning every Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 6:30. So come in and see Coach Lacey Coleman. Coach Lacey Coleman actually played defensive end for Louisville.
Yes, sir.
Louisville, they call him Coach Louis, right?
Yeah,
Coach Louis. Come in and ask for Coach Louis. Listen, he will get you right from head to toe. He's going to have you ready. And, it's the off season, so we want to make sure we become a better football player, a better athlete in the off season, right? So when the season come around, we're a finished product. I'm going to go into the Black History Spotlight. It's February, it's Black History Month. It wouldn't be right for me to talk about some hometown heroes that I grew up around, that I grew up admiring. I'm from Waco, Texas, of course. And this person really kind of exemplified being a man of character. He was a pillar in the community, and his name is Walter Napier. Walter Napier. Walter Napier is no longer living now, but I remember, when I met him, it wasn't under the best circumstance, just put it that way. I can remember just like it was yesterday. We was on the bus. I was in the second grade, and it was making a whole bunch of noise. We were just shouting and playing because it was at the end of school. We was at the bus stop, and Joe Boy was our bus driver. He couldn't get us under control. So he saw Mr. Napier across the street, and he told Mr. Napier, he said, hey, he signaled him to come over. He came over, man, and he let him on our bus. He said, hey, y'all shut up. Oh, y'all shut up talking. And we all, this big old 6'4" dude, man, we all looking like this buck-eyed. Then all of a sudden, he just comes directly straight to me. Boom, boom, boom. What's so funny? You think something funny? Because I guess I had a smirk on my face. And I'm second grade now, 7, 8 years old. And this is the first thing I said. I said, no, ma'am. He said, you think I'm a woman? I said, no, ma'am. I didn't know the difference between yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am. I didn't know. And he was like, do I look like a woman to you? I said, no, ma'am. He says, no, sir. I said it again. And everybody was laughing at me, but I learned that day. But to make a long story short, little did I know that man's like destiny will nudge you sometime. It will get your attention. Because that man was a former NFL player that played for the Kansas City Chiefs in the early 60s. He was the first black deputy sheriff in Waco, Texas, McLennan County. So he was a very big pillar in the community, and he played for the Kansas City Chiefs, which was formerly known as the Dallas Texans. A lot of people don't know that the Kansas City Chiefs back in the early 60s were called the Dallas Texans. It was in Dallas that they moved their franchise to Kansas City. But destiny sometimes, man, will nudge you and get your attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, and lo and behold, I end up becoming a NFL player. A lot of similarities to him. He played defensive end. He was 6'4", 275, just like I was. He was he had a youth program and everything. And also my little brother played for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, ain't that something? Like that one interaction. And I always said this, man, why did he come pick me out of 30 kids to get on? You know, like he could have got on anybody else on that bus, but he came straight to me and was like, just like pinpointed me out of everybody, you know, but, you know, make a long story short, sometimes hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. And when you look at it, I was like, okay, now I see, because everybody that was on that bus, I was the one that made it to the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Gotcha. Same size, same everything.
Same size, same everything, from Waco, Texas. So much respect, and God rest his soul to Walter, they call him Buffalo Napier. That's our Black History Spotlight. All right. So our topic of discussion this time on our Total Talk podcast is the road to the NFL. Now, who would know better than me on the road to the NFL? I'm training young athletes, and some of these guys on our wall of fame have made it to the NFL and made it to the highest level. But how do you get there? Because the outside world, they look at it as impossible. Mm-hmm. And if you see something as impossible, you will never be able to achieve the possible. The outside world will tell you, you know what, man, you got a less than 1% chance of making it. You got to, listen, 25% of 1%. Did I say that right?
0.25% of 1%.
0.25 of 1%. That's the odds of high school kids coming on from college into the pros. Those odds are slim, and they're very, scary if you really think about it. But I tell everybody, listen, don't focus on the impossible, because if you do, you'll never get there. Don't focus on what man says. Man is not God. Man doesn't control your destiny. So, but the main thing I teach my young athletes to do, Coach Lacey, is you have to have a vision.
Yes. You
got to have a vision of where you're going. Just like I had a vision when I was in 6th grade. I remember my first, people asked me, when did you become an NFL player? I said, when I was in 6th grade.
That's good. That's good.
When I had a vision of me playing in the NFL. And I got that vision because I did a history fair project, and I got won first in the whole 6th grade with O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
I did a history fair project on O.J. Simpson, and that gave me a vision. I was like, this is back in 1989. And I was like, who is this O.J. Simpson? I see him as a commentator online, on TV and stuff like that. And when I did, I didn't know he did all that. I know he broke the rushing record. I know he did, and I just got engulfed with sports. I got engulfed with football. And I was like, from
you
there
met
on,
your destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
At 6.
At 6th grade, at 12 years old. Yeah, exactly.
It's powerful.
So now I start seeing myself with that vision of, man, I can play football too. I can be, an NFL player as well. So, yeah, if you can do it, I can do it. Seeing is believing, right? So, Coach Lacey, tell me how important it is to have a vision of where you're going.
I think it's the most important thing. It's like if you're driving down the street in the car and I tell you to close your eyes and keep driving, you'd be scared. So you got to open your eyes to see where you're going.
That's good.
That's a good one.
And one thing that you were saying is really belief.
Right.
Belief in yourself.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have belief in where you're going, then you're going to end up somewhere wrong.
Yeah. You got confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence is everything.
Yeah,
you got to have confidence in yourself, man. That's like you say, you got to trust the process, as we all say.
Right.
Mia, how important it is to have vision. I mean, you'll know more just as well as I do, but go right ahead.
Right. I think you guys hit the main points or whatever, but I think a part of a vision is learning how to avoid the distractions, right? So you have the goal, you're locked in on that, but understand that things are going to come that are going to distract you, right? To really see if that's really, really what you want to do. And sometimes those distractions, it may make you feel like you're off path.
Right.
whatever. But some of those things are also things that are necessary, right, for you to get to the vision. So I think part of vision is the first thing we want to say is what we can see, right? And what you write down and the action steps that you take in, right? And how you break those into manageable steps, right? And then you focus on what's important, right, to get to that goal. But I also think that it's important for us to let people know that when you are headed towards the vision, that there are going to be distractions and you can't get hung up there.
Yep, that's good. You're right. So, you got to have a vision. And I always say this, at night when you go to bed, when it's real quiet, that's when I used to dream.
Wow.
That's when I used to dream of myself playing in the NFL or playing college football. I used to just sit in my bed and look to the ceiling and just dream. You know what I mean?
That's
just
fun.
get that, you know what I mean?
That's
I think that's big.
That is big.
And outside of having a vision, I tell people now, vision is one thing. Dream is good, but you can't just be a dreamer your whole life, You got to speak it into existence.
That's right.
Speaking is another thing. And I feel that what you put in the atmosphere is what's going to come back. So I'm very selective about what I put in the atmosphere. I ain't going to say nothing negative about myself, my children, the athletes I train. I'm going to watch that because I know words are more powerful than anything.
Right.
And once you put them out there, you can't take it back. So I always tell people this, don't tell everybody else what you're going to do. Listen, just all you got to do is convince yourself.
Amen.
You ain't got to convince everybody else. You ain't got to convince man, just convince yourself. Speak positive words of affirmation over you. A lot of times, I speak, I'm healthy, wealthy, wise, influential, powerful. Healthy, wealthy, wise, influential, powerful. You can just speak words like that over yourself. I think that's real big. The next one I would always say is you have to be able to make it plain. Now, how do you make it plain? You got to write it down. Because some people look too far down the road.
That's right.
If I'm a 10th grade football player, like I was at 15 years old, saying I want to play in the NFL, praying to God I want to play in the NFL, I know that, listen, I got to be the most outstanding 10th grade football player this coming football season. Right now. Every little step adds up to big steps.
That's why I said action steps.
The action steps.
Yeah.
So having short-term goals are more important because they lead you to the long-term goals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what you had to say about, what can you add on that, Mia?
Nothing. Honestly, you're really hitting it today,
Right.
y'all. Before you get to the NFL, if you're in 10th grade, you got to master 10th. You got to master 11th, you got to master 12th, and so on, so forth and so on, which just goes back to what I was saying about, when you have the vision, like you said, you can't look too far down the road. That's why you have to have these manageable action steps and goals to get to the vision, because you can't jump over high school to get to college. You can't jump over, right. You can't jump over college to get to the NFL. So just understanding that all of that is going to work for your good. Like I said, the good, the bad, the distractions or whatever, and that all those things together, if you stay focused, stay on the right track, surround yourself with people, right, who have that same goal as you, because that's a big one, making sure that you're in the correct environments, right, to achieve the goal. Then once you do all that,
right. No,
prayerfully, everything, the vision, it works out.
Yeah, and you said something about, sometimes we can look too far ahead and trip and fall in front of us,
right,
because we're not focusing on what's in front of us. Overreaching, So when these young athletes come into our gym, we know it's February, but we want you to work on, if you're 8th grade, you're working on becoming the best 9th grade football player you can be.
Right.
That's all you.
Because in the summer, you got to beat out somebody for that spot anyway.
That's exactly right.
Thinking about the next season, you got to think about the summer.
Yes, you do.
You think about what's in front of you right now.
Right, exactly.
It's okay to dream the other stuff and have a vision of you getting there, but you have to get to 9th, 10th, 11th before you get to college and so forth and so on. So just know that those things are adding up, right? To get you to the next step.
Right. Totally agree.
Before we move on, I have a book that I want y'all to check out. It's called The Atomic Habits.
Yeah, great book.
Before I read that book, I used to think I had to move mountains to succeed in life.
Right, yeah.
One thing that Atomic Habits talk about is doing something with 1% a day.
Yep.
That's right.
Will add up to 100 eventually.
Right.
So you just got to be consistent on making yourself better every day.
Yes.
Little by little.
Yes, you're right about that. And also, that was one of the first books I read in 2022. And what I got the most out of that book was the bamboo tree I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That the bamboo tree grows underground for 5 years without you even seeing anything above surface.
Right.
But in 6 weeks, once it breaks through the surface, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. See, so it's the underground moments that are most important when you're breaking through the dirt.
Yeah.
When you find out the dirt that's in your face, you're trying to get to the surface. The world sees the above ground success, but they don't see the underground moments that made you successful, that made you that tall 90 foot bamboo tree.
You know what? I think that's a perfect segue, actually, of for our guests today.
Yes.
And that they had to endure a lot of what we would call underground moments.
Yes.
And so now the world is seeing them peak. You see them in college. You see them on Instagram. You see them social media. You see them playing in bowl games. But I think that you guys are going to be in for a real treat to see about their underground moments before you saw them shoot through the dirt.
Exactly. And, you know, on the road to the NFL, when I talk about the road to the NFL, you look at me, well, I'm a former NFL player. So I see it differently from maybe how a parent to see it or somebody that never played in the NFL. It's achievable to me. And not just that, people say, well, lightning struck twice in the same place. My little brother was an NFL player.
Yeah.
You know, and not just that, I had 4 other cousins outside their first cousins that were NFL players too. So I know it's doable. You just got to make up in your mind that's what you want. You know what I'm saying?
You really are an anomaly. Your family, but not even just their family, right? Just if you're thinking about, he's talking about really that plan A that we've talked about before. In subsequent, in former episodes, we talked about making that plan A work. So think about it. If 0.25% of 1% makes it to the NFL, right? How is it that lightning struck twice in his house, right? As he mentioned and stuff, but it also struck multiple times in his family. So to me, that right there is the evidence that when they tell you that it's easier to win the lottery than it is to make it to the NFL, I don't know if I really believe that statistic anymore based off of you.
I don't either.
So,
you know, and I always look at it like this. Listen, I always had a plan A. Well, what does plan A mean? It means you're all in. If you give yourself a plan B, when it gets hard, when it gets tough, you're going to want to fall back to that backup plan. That's what plan B stands for. So you got to be all in. I've been running plan A my whole life. I ain't never gave myself a plan B. I've been an NFL player. Now I'm an entrepreneur. And even when I started out being an entrepreneur, they told me, well, you probably need to go get a job and this and that.
They did.
But I was like, nah, I'm going to stick with my plan A.
Right.
You know, I mean, you've been there with me every step of the way since I was a rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles to where we're at now. And you know how we could have took the alternative or took the backup plan. You know, even when it got hard in the NFL, you know, I could have said, why don't you go back and get a job with Baylor? You know, you got your degree from Baylor. I was all in. I was like, nah, man, I'm going to make my plan A work.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that, Ben. And in that plan A stage, guys, you know, when you're having people who are telling you that, you know, you have to have a plan B or whatever, I said environment. You have to make sure that you surround yourself with people who will push you to plan A when the rest of the world is trying to tell you plan B. When the money is low, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, right? When the money is low or when you're knocking on doors, you know, to try to get clients or whatever the plan A is, you have to have people around you who support you 100%, who believe in you 100%, who will, you know, just look you in the face and tell you, like, I got you. Like, I'm looking at him right now. I got you.
Exactly.
We got this, regardless of what the circumstances are. And that, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to make this work.
Right. And I'm going to say this with Coach Lacey. He came in not too long ago, you know what I mean? And total athlete has gone to a whole nother level.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying, man? It's just because you like, hey, this is my plan A, coach.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
That's it. And I look for coaches that say, hey, this is my plan A.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around people that say, I'm just doing this a side hustle for me. Nah, man, I want you to live, breathe, and eat this. Because when you live, breathe, and eat it, that's the only way you're going to succeed.
And we have kids that are depending on you and depending on the people here believing in them. When you got to remember, we get them from 4 years old or whatever. You got to remember that's such as we're talking about a vision, and it's far off. Like what Dwight has done, and what these young men that are coming on today has done to them is so far off. You have to have people in here that can remind these kids someone's most prized possession that their dream is attainable. You can't have people in here depositing halfway into kids that are looking for a return on their investment and on their time and on what they're putting in to get to the next level. Right. So don't play with it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you're right about that, Mia. And I just want to just say this, one of the main things I think that I always ask this question, where are majority of your best athletes? Are they in the NFL or on the street?
Street.
They're on the street. Majority of them, a few of them are in the NFL. You know what I mean? But majority of them are on the street because they made bad decisions. I always tell people about leadership.
Some have made bad decisions.
Some have made bad decisions, but you got to be a leader. You know what I mean? It's hard to make it to the top is staying a follower. Like we start off as followers, when we're young, but at some point you got to mature to be that leader, especially that leader of your peers, that leader of men. You know what I mean? To make it. Because there are a lot of people that got strong bodies. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of strong bodies out here and athletes out here, but they got weak minds to where they're going to follow anybody and they're going to fall by the wayside at some point.
A lot of these coaches now, that's what they're looking for, leaders.
They're looking for leaders, man.
Followers.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the way college is now, man. It's tough.
Even in high school.
Even in high school, yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go right in to our guests. These young men are on the road to the NFL. Listen, they've been working hard. They have paid their dues. They have put in the work. They have performed on the field in front of the big lights, off the field as well. They got their college degrees. I want to introduce them. Then we're going to bring them on. But we're going to introduce Eli Morris, defensive tackle for East Carolina. Deontay Johnson, defensive tackle for East Carolina as well. Both of them been starting for 3-4 years and all conference players as well. Another one, you can't mention these two guys without mentioning Surratt. Surratt Ware is another guy that has gotten a lot of playing time and has started as well. And they anchor the defensive line for East Carolina Pirates. And then last but not least, our guy, Savio Frazier. Savio Frazier was a 3-time all-conference player at Mercer, and now he transferred his senior year to Miami, Ohio, and doing a great job. So we're going to bring these guys on, and we're going to get a real experience of how they got where they're at today. Because I want these young people that are in high school, middle school, to hear their story, because every great man has a story to tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And tell it real, tell it raw, tell it so that, the young ones that are watching and even parents, because parents don't always know what's going on behind the scenes, that they could take some of this wisdom from your experiences, their highs, and their lows, for parents to be able, to digest and get full off of, what they bring to the table and what they've been through.
He'll be back. I got two of my favorite guys here. They've been training with me for about a month now. I got on to my left. I got Deontay Johnson, and I have Surratt Ware to my right. Both of these are great young men. I love the way they work hard. They're very determined and focused. Every time I see them, I'm like, yeah, these young men, they have something special that's going to take to make it to the next level. But I'm going to try to break it down for me, guys. And I'm going to start with you, Surratt. How did you get to this point, man, to where you was, just as much as a starter for East Carolina, playing, you know what I mean, now to be an NFL prospect?
Yeah, I started young at about 4 or 5 playing football. My dad got me playing, so I was small playing, always playing with bigger guys. And, playing little league, not really knowing much, just run around, go get the football. It was, the basics of it. Middle school, I played a bunch of different positions, running back. Believe it or not, I played running back.
You played running back?
Middle school. And, starting off in high school, I transferred from a different school. I was, staying other places, and I transferred over to Highland Springs. Okay. And that's what we, I lost 2 games in high school. The very first one and the very last one. And so, got a couple of us, end up picking ECU, where it felt like home, and it was fun, waiting my turn to play. But once I played, didn't look back, and ever since then, it's just been history.
That's awesome.
Now here I am training for, NFL or wherever God take me. So I'm here and I'm training, putting in the work, and just let everything else in God's hand.
Man, that's awesome, man. What's your specialty? Like, as a defensive lineman, we all defensive linemen. I was more of a power to speed guy, when it come to pass rush and stuff. I was known for my brute strength. Well, what are you mainly known for, man, that's gonna stand out to the NFL scouts when they see you?
I'm more of a speed to a sneaky power.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to do a whole lot of power.
Right.
I'll give them more speed. And
Okay.
then hit them in the mouth when they don't expect it.
Oh, okay. I like that, big man. That's a good one, man. well, that's awesome, man. Well, you know, hey, man, keep working hard, man. We're in the middle of it. You know, we got 4 more weeks, baby. So, you know, we got to hone in and make it happen, all right? We got to get there. Appreciate you. Big Deontay Johnson. This is another Johnson. Johnson in the house.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, man, how you got where you're at, man? Because, you know, I know you was an all-conference player at East Carolina, dominant on the inside, can play the 3 technique all the way down to the nose guard.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, man, your process, man. Tell the world your story, big dog.
I started playing football when I was 7.
Okay.
Straight tackle. I never played flag football or nothing. Yeah, always been an offensive lineman, defensive lineman,
Right,
guard,
okay.
defensive tackle. So that worked up. And I always had the same coach from rec league all the way to middle school.
Okay. Oh, good.
And then like on the high school level, my coach was a team chapel, and his son was a O-line. He had with the O-line.
Right.
So it was like I was getting the same knowledge from the same guys that was gonna end up coaching me in high school.
Right,
So we built that bond. We started early. The same group of guys I started with, I ended with in high school.
That's good, man.
And then I committed to ECU October 2019 on Halloween.
On Halloween,
Yep.
man.
Then ever since then, got there early on. You know, you had your little doubts and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, man, it's rough right now.
Yeah.
But then you get to the part where you playing and just like, this what I dreamed about. Cause you always say when you little, like, I want to go to the NFL.
Right.
But you also hear everybody else say it and look where they be at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my vision. But then when it started actually happening to me, it was like, I could be different. Like, I ain't got to be like everybody else and be back at the crib.
Yeah.
I can make it happen.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. So you had a vision of being when did you have your vision of being playing in the NFL?
Really, since I started, like, cause
That's
I
good.
always loved football, but I just ain't until I was 7. So I just ain't never think that it was gonna really happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you always see everybody around. It don't never work out.
Right.
So, But then when I got the chance, I started taking off. It was like, all right, I love this feeling.
That's
I love just being on that field.
Yeah, that's good, man. And I could tell, man, your passion. I could tell you're passionate about what you do. All y'all young men, you know, I've been watching y'all the past 2 years because, you know, y'all play with my son and y'all a great example. Both of y'all to my boy. All he talks about is y'all 3. Surad, Big Dante, and Eli. Those are his guys, man. But when did you get on the field? Like some freshmen, when they get to college, they want to play right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like majority of the program's gonna tell you, you know, you got to wait. You have to pay your dues and wait your turn. You know, there's some kids play when they freshmen. You know, but how was it for you?
Like I say, I always appreciate my head coach for like humbling me young.
Yeah.
Like just let me know, like, no matter who you are, what role you play on this team, ain't nobody bigger than the team. And he helped me young. So when I first got to school, when I first got to ECU, it was just like, I ain't playing. But then the second year, you know what I mean? The coach is trying to keep you positive and stuff. So they telling you stuff.
Yeah.
But then, and your odds is not adding up.
Yeah.
So you get in your own little mind space. But then when you start, like, I didn't start really playing until my 3rd year. So like my red shirt
So you're red shirt sophomore. You was red shirt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're red shirt
And
sophomore
then
year.
my first start, I dislocated my patella.
Oh.
So at that moment, that's when I was like, dang, bro, like, you get frustrated, but then that's when I got closer with God. And I realized it was like, I've been knew it was a higher power, but like, in that moment, God showed me like, I got you, just trust me.
Wow.
Ever since then, I locked in, I ain't looked back.
Ain't look back. Then, you know, obviously, you know, your sophomore year you came back and played the end of your sophomore year, the last 4 games
Yes, sir.
or something like that. But your junior year was a big year
Yes,
for
sir.
you as well.
First full healthy season, that's my all-conference year.
That's your all-conference year. Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. Yeah, when I look at you play, man, you kind of remind me of myself a little bit. Some of the things, moves, I was like, yeah, man, he kind of moved like me a little bit, man. But I can really see you, man, doing some great things at the next level. You just stay focused, man, and keep grinding, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep that warrior mentality. Back to you, Big Surad. What does it take? You talking to a high school athlete, and they get so enamored by getting all these offers, these D1 offers, or Power 4 offers, or G5 they call it. It's all D1 football to me. You know what I mean? But what does it take, man, to be that guy
Believe
on
in
Saturday.
yourself.
Believing in yourself.
In yourself. Like she said, I heard her say earlier, like the world will tell you something different. And it's mainly just believing in yourself.
Right, exactly.
Even if you're not getting a chance when you want it, like you said, most freshmen are not going to play.
Right, yeah.
Majority, 80% of the schools you won't play, and you'll get an opportunity. You know, if another guy get hurt or however it may work, you may take advantage of your opportunity at the right time. But most of the time, if you come in as a freshman, you put your head down, and do the work. And like I said, believe in yourself. Like you said, you'll get in your mind, and it'll tell you one thing, like I should be playing, and why am I not this? I expect to be this. And you know, coming out of high school, you the senior, you the older guy, and it's just like, it's kind of like you have no other choice. But then you go to college, it's back to a freshman again.
Right,
where you got older guys who about to go to the league next year or two, and you just coming out of high school. And so it's just believing in yourself, man. You're not going to, it's a turtle race. Turtle can win the race at any moment. Like,
That's right. Oh, wow.
The fastest guy, like, it doesn't matter. You run your own race, man.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I like that Big Sue Rad. Would you say you got to have thick skin? Because a lot of these, I see a difference between kids now that are in high school when coach get on them. Like, tough coaching is almost extinct now. You know what I mean? But at that next level of where they're going, it's going to be some tough coaching. And you got to have thick skin, right? Which one you want to talk about it first, man? Like, do you have, you talk to a young athlete. Talk about the toughness, the mental toughness you got to have to make it, man.
The mental toughness, like I said, it's going to be a lot of them tough days, them dog days when you on your own head.
Yeah.
Or like, you might have a bad day of practice. You might fail an exam.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about all that. You might be raining, you step in a puddle, like all the little stuff add up. But it's all about how you respond to it, the adversity.
Exactly.
And determine like how you turn out in the end.
So like, you know, if a coach get on you and yell at you or cuss you out and this and that, like how you respond, because that's normal.
I really it got me in trouble a couple times, but I smile because my dad didn't, can't nobody else fuss me out, you feel me, worse than my pops.
Right, I got you.
That's the way I look at it. But then you just gotta realize, he sees something in me. Maybe I don't see myself yet. And that was my case early on. I'm thinking, man, they just, you feel me, I'm wasting my time. But they making me stay down until I come up, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And then just go through the fire. And then once you go through it, it's just like you on the other end now. That's when the lights get bright. Everything start happening. Everything you ever dreamed about start coming into play.
Man, that's real. Because it's like this. If a coach ain't talking to you,
that's when you need to be worried.
That's when you need to be worried, right?
Definitely.
Because I mean, so it's good, man. You know, that's why I tell them a dog don't chase a bark at a parked car. Y'all ever heard that analogy?
I never heard that one.
If a car is parked, that dog's not gonna come off the porch chasing it or running after it, you right?
Yeah.
But it's when you crank up that engine and you start to go somewhere, he gonna try to chase you. You know, he gonna bark at you. He gonna try to, go where you going, but he know he gotta, at some point he gotta get back on that porch. But you know what I'm saying? But sometimes we can't get distracted about the barks, from people, outside noise and stuff, like whether it's a coach or it's a fan, you gotta have that tunnel vision, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another thing, once you get there, people gonna say what they wanna say. Everybody got their own opinion, but if it ain't nobody that you playing with or none of them coaches, the outside noise don't matter.
It don't matter. Yeah, man, I hear you, man. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome, big guys. Hey, big guys, man, I appreciate y'all for being on the show. Thank y'all for taking our time, because I know around this time, y'all probably in the bed resting, because you got to be up here early in the morning to train again, right? Because we building champions around here. We building future NFL players. And I'm speaking that into existence for both of y'all, all right? Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, buddy. Yes, sir. Same here, big man. Yep. Hey, y'all, this is Coach Johnson. I'm back with two more of my favorite guys. They all my favorites, I tell you that, because these guys work hard, man. They give 100% every day. To my right, I have Eli Morris, defensive tackle for East Carolina. To my left, I have Savio Frazier. Man, a few words, but big action. He actually plays at University of Miami, Ohio, and then also played at Mercer for 3 years as well. These two guys, I could say this about them. They're overachievers. Just let me say that. They're overachievers. You know, when the world or man expects them to be right here, they're always above. They're going to always exceed man's expectations. And I want to start with Eli. Eli, tell the story, man, because I don't think that you was a scholarship guy. You was a walk-on when you came to East Carolina your freshman year, man. But just tell everybody, man, your story of how you became a starter.
Yeah, so basically, coming out of high school, didn't have a whole bunch of Division I offers. I had some smaller schools, Division II, Division III, who I'm grateful for giving me a chance to come play.
Right.
But I took a chance, and I walked on. Prefer walk on in East Carolina. I showed up right when COVID happened, and I showed up with Tay and Sue, who were in the show a little bit earlier, and it was free game.
Right.
Basically, why I chose to come, they said I was going to have an opportunity to earn my scholarship and to earn a spot on the roster. And, you know, I put all my cards on the deck, and I went. I took a gamble, I chased it, and, you know, I'm grateful it's worked out. And I arrived on campus, and there was 10 other defensive tackles who they brought in, including Tay and Sue. And
wow.
Like I said, with COVID and everything, it was anybody's game. It was anybody's position to be in. And I knew I wasn't the strongest or the fastest by any means, because we had some big jokers. You just saw Tay and Sue. But I knew that it was gonna come down to what I could do off the field. I got in my playbook.
Man, that's good.
I learned it. I tried to take advantage of doing the little things right, because I knew the little things would translate. I got in my playbook. I thank God I got in good graces with my coaches.
That's good.
And sure enough, I got a chance on the field. And I got thrown in the fire early. I started my first game, the third game of the season.
As a freshman walk-on?
As a freshman walk-on.
Dang. Who was y'all playing?
We played so the game before we played Georgia State. So here in Atlanta we played, and I had 8 tackles. I didn't play the first half. And I was a little discouraged because, you know, that was my first time ever traveling a football game and watching. So didn't play the first half. I got in the second half, and I ended the game with 8 tackles.
Man, that's
the next week we played Navy, and no freshman ever plays against Navy. That's usually how it goes against academy schools.
Right.
And my coach, he threw me into the fire, and he took a chance on me, and I made the most of it. And you know, it's rare for a freshman to start in general in Division I football.
Wow.
But you know, let alone being a walk-on, you know, a lot of people didn't think that was even possible.
Right, exactly.
But I made it happen. I started my first year, and I started 4 years after that. So it was truly a blessing, man.
Man, that's awesome, man. You know, because the road wasn't paved with gold. See, sometimes these kids, they think, oh, because the road there's most paved with gold, that's the road to take. But it seems like you took the road less traveled. You know what I mean?
It was definitely less traveled. And sure enough, it worked out in the end. At the end of that season, going into 2021, well, they told me second to last game of the season, we were at Lincoln Financial Field. And after the game, my head coach announced that he was going to put me on scholarship.
Wow, man. Wow.
You know, that was a big moment. I'm thankful to have shared that moment with my teammates. They filled the room with joy when they said it.
That's cool, man.
Because they knew everything I did to get there.
Right.
And the biggest thing I took from that moment, my coach, my position coach, he told me, don't let earning this scholarship be your greatest achievement. Let it be a stepping stone along the way to a bigger achievement.
Right,
so,
I like that.
I ran with that ever since.
Wow,
I made sure that wasn't going to be my only achievement. And here I am today.
That's it, man. And, you know, primed and ready, 4-year starter at East Carolina, man, doing some great things, man. Love your work ethic, man. And listen, always say this, if you're a hard worker and that's your story of working from the bottom to get what you want, then a lot of times history repeats itself. You know what I mean? But it'd be repeated at a different level. And if the same thing will happen, because a good player in college is a good player in the NFL. A player that was a rookie free agent or whatever you come in, a draft pick, he's going to end up being a starter at some point because you got a system. You know what I mean? Just use that system that works for you. You know what I mean? And it's hard work. It's a grind and just staying focused, all that good stuff. So,
like you had printed on the shirts, man, it's a process and you have to trust it.
That's it.
It's going to be long. It's going to be hard. And it's going to bring up doubt in your mind. But, you got to stick with it.
Amen.
And you got to persevere through all the hard things to get where you want to be.
You got to. I hope the young people out there listening to that. You got to persevere. Go right ahead. Big Savio. Now, you're a hometown guy. I remember training you a little bit in high school, and you went off to Mercer, and you played defensive line 1 year, your senior year, because you was an offensive lineman.
Yeah, kind of just went back this O-line for most of the time I was playing in high school.
Right.
For my 3 years, and then my last year, that was the only time I got to play at defense. So
Yeah.
did the most I could of it.
Hey, you did. You got first team All-Region. Did you get some All-State honors as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. This young man, he's just gonna come and take some. I love this kid. Tell the people about your career at Mercer. You know what I mean? You was an all-conference player 3 years in a row. But go ahead, tell the process, man. Did you start as a true freshman? How did it work out for you?
So basically, me coming in there, I just kind of already wanted to know what I wanted and know what I was gonna get like that. So I just came in there and just started working hard and moving my way up the ranks. And even when I was a freshman, mostly they already told me you probably not gonna even play or anything like that. But I still just did the work and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, my coach talking to me saying you got a chance you can go out there and start if you really put in the work and stuff. So after I heard that, that's all the motivation I needed to just turn my motor on, just start working, and that's what I did.
That's good, man. So your freshman year, did you get what did you get freshman?
Freshman, yeah, all SoCon.
Oh, you got freshman all SoCon.
Mm.
Wow. Then talk about your sophomore year. How did that go for you?
Yeah, that was the time I first started my whole year. Mm-hmm. So I think I did pretty good with that.
That's good, and you got some more all-conference honors.
Yeah, for my last year, and then that's when I transferred.
Right. So you played 3 years at Mercer. Now, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter where you play, where you play at. You want to go to where you can get on the field. You want to go where you're number one. How many offers did you have coming out of high school?
Really, that was Mercer was the only one I had.
Wow. Mercer was the only one he had, and he maximized that opportunity. And that's what it's all about, man. You listen, man. You kids keep doing what you're doing, man. Then you transferred after your junior year and went to Miami, Ohio. How did talk about the experience, the realness of that?
And I was the first time I went up there and I just realized the best people just don't start for real.
Wow.
That's when I first realized it.
Yeah, and that's true, man. Sometimes they don't play the best players, but obviously
even though that was the case, I still kept working, and I eventually started playing and started there.
Right, exactly. You kind of like the new kid on the block, pretty much and stuff like that. But you gotta have the right attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. That was one of the main things that was holding me down. It was my mental. I just started my winter started getting weak and stuff like that, but then.
Right.
I took it a day just to lock back in.
Right, exactly.
And look at the big picture.
Look at the big picture. That's right. And that's when
just the things that started going up from there.
So mental's big, and it's our perspective of how we look at it. And things start going well for you at Miami, Ohio, man. But that's awesome, man. I always say this to my parents. A lot of times us as parents, and I'm a parent and I'm also a coach, of course. We want, there's no exemptions to enduring. There's no exemption to enduring. Sometimes we want to protect our kids from going through things. But in order to build that character, that player development, they're going to have to go through. You know what I mean? It's part of the process, you know, because it's preparing you to be a better version of yourself. You know what I mean? Each one of us had to endure. Your parents had to endure at some point. Enduring is not failure. It's growth. It's pushing through to get to the next level, right? It says the race is not given to the fast or the swift, but to the one that what? Can endure. So it's a part of the process at this next level. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these, I see it. Parents want to pull their kids, take them, put them over here at this school, put them over here at that school. But guess what? You still got to come back to it because you didn't pass the test, right? You still got to go through it and you got to go through the process. You got to trust the process, right? To get to the next level. Guys, man, I really appreciate you, both of y'all speaking. Let me say this. You coming from a FCS school to a FBS school, is there a difference in talent level? Like, what's the difference?
Honestly, like, from my experience, I really don't see a difference for real.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
It's just like the only difference I see mainly is just like more better players around the field. But other than that, like nothing's really changed.
Nothing really changed. Football.
Football, yeah.
And the same with you, Eli. From a lot of because I'm around athletes 24/7. My dream is to play Power 4 football, Power 5 football, whatever you call it nowadays. But is the goal to get on the field? I tell my athletes, once you got Power 4s and G5 offers, I don't know why they make a difference because anybody can get beat on any Saturday. But it's about choosing the right fit.
That's true.
Not the best offer. A lot of people choose the best offer, not the best fit.
Yeah, in a lot of situations, when they do choose the best offer, they're in a situation where, they don't realize it until they're there for a year.
Right.
And they realize maybe this wasn't the best fit. And that's why you see so many people who go into the transfer portal. Not saying that, some people who are leaving schools didn't have issues or weren't treated fairly.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it wasn't the best fit, but the better offer, like you said.
Right.
But piggybacking off of what y'all were just talking about, playing the FBS, the Power 4 teams, I played Michigan the year they won the championship.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We played NC State in the bowl game. We played South Carolina's. So we played the Big Ten, the SEC, ACC, big, whatever you want to call them. Ball is ball.
Ball is ball, yeah.
They got to put their shoulder pads on just like you do.
Right.
They got to get their play calling. It just, a lot of the build up around everything, I call it the hype, is just the conference.
The conference,
That's really what holds the weight is the conference, the P4s. But in terms of players and who's on each team, anybody can get beat on any given game in college football. And that's what makes it so fun.
Right, exactly.
That's what makes college football so fun to enjoy, whether you're watching it or playing it. Because you show up, a team shows up one Saturday versus a lesser opponent, what it might look like. That lesser opponent doesn't think they're the lesser opponent. They think, it's even ground. They got to play us. And, our coach always said going into the week, when we had to play somebody, they got to see us.
They got to see us, baby.
They got to.
I like that. I like that.
You can't dance around it. You got to go out there and you got to see us.
They got to see us. They got to deal with us.
The day you don't show up,
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Wow. Now I will say this. It seems like the transfer portal has even the playing field with a lot of these, whether it's the Power 4 conferences playing against the G5 or whatever, because a lot of the kids that are at the Power 4 that are not playing, what are they doing? They're transferring to where they can play, whether it's a G5 school or whatever, how they label it. I don't like to label them G5. It's all D1. You know what I'm saying? But they got to get on the field. So I think that's what's even in the playing field because you can, on y'all quarterback, he came from, where did he come from?
He came from Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah. One of your running backs came from Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State, you see what I'm saying? Like the battlefield is even now. You know what I mean?
It really is.
It is because at the end of the day, people just trying to get on the field so they can have some production. You know what I mean? To put up numbers. That's how you get looks from the next level in the NFL. You know? So, man, that's awesome, big man. Well, guys, I appreciate this conversation I had with y'all. Thank y'all for coming out and staying late night with Coach Johnson and talking. Man, I know y'all got to get some rest. Get back up here in the morning. We're going to go about 10:30 tomorrow.
All right,
just to let y'all
good,
know.
man.
But I appreciate you, big man.
I appreciate you
Thank
having us,
big
man.
dog. Yeah, anytime. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Big Savio. Thank you, sir. Man, I tell you, we had a great episode, and thank y'all for tuning in to Total Talk Podcast. And guess what? We're going to have another exciting guest coming in on our next episode. But just thank y'all. Listen, I appreciate all my followers, all my supporters. And please subscribe and like on YouTube, the Total Talk Podcast. Thank you, and y'all be blessed.